Hello and welcome to Network. My name is Spumelele Zondi. Today we have information on the rumors of the new Nokia 3310. The South African Human Rights Commission had hearings on racism in social media. There's info about that tonight as well. We will also touch on fake news sites. Our discussion is on the Overwatch Festival for gamers. Find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram. It's news at SABC.co.za and email. Let's start with your technology and social media news. The South African Human Rights Commission held hearings on racism on social media. Nozintombi Mia was there for us.
Is social media to blame for the increased racial tensions? Should there be tighter regulation, or is it a deeper societal issue? These are just some of the questions the Commission is probing.
The problem of racism should be seen for what it is. It's a very malignant problem that takes a long time to heal. But I think that we shouldn't throw our hands in the air.
There's no silver bullet that's going to cure it. There's no formula. There's no single answer. It's a series of processes.
South Africa is my home. Here I stay, and we had better come together and build a better nation. Otherwise, we all sink together.
The NPA says people could face criminal charges for reposting or retweeting messages that contain hate speech. Once the proposed hate crimes and hate speech bill is passed into law.
The act that will specifically deal with these instances of racism is still a bill. It is not promulgated yet. That act will criminalize any forms of hate speech and hate crimes.
Facebook says it doesn't tolerate hate speech on its platform.
If someone reports it, particularly hate speech, since that's what we're talking about, we review the report and we remove it. We also, I think this is important to note, that we don't allow organizations who are organized around hate. So if your organization is explicitly a hate organization, you're not allowed on our platform.
The F.W. de Klerk Foundation says a lack of political leadership and the sharp economic decline are to blame for racist comments.
US President Donald Trump has thrown around the term fake news so much so that it is now trending. The so-called fake news have become prevalent, especially on the internet. But how can people determine whether the news link they click on is fake or not? Network producer Lebo Sitjake lets us in on the term.
The leaks are absolutely real. The news is fake.
President of the United States of America said this at one of his press briefings, popularizing the term fake news. What exactly is this fake news that the president talks of?
Fake news is it's a bit of a contentious term. I mean, nobody can really define it, and whether a news story is true or not that's not a new argument. We've been arguing over, can news be objective? Is all news biased? For decades now. I mean, for centuries, since the birth of newspapers. So it's not a new phenomenon at all. What we're seeing now is a very distinct thing happening predominantly online, where we're seeing websites spring up that look like established news sites, but they're running stories which are blatantly untrue.
Online publications such as these ones have been rumored to have somehow affected the outcome of the 2016 US elections. South Africa has also seen a number of fake news websites like this one popping all over the internet.
The US elections, there was a lot of traffic coming from Eastern Europe, for example, spreading stories that clearly weren't true and had no basis in fact through social media and so on. And there's a lot of research been done into where those stories came from, and a lot of speculation about who was paying for them and what agenda they had. And I think the way we use the term fake news now, it's not so much about your National Enquirer or aliens in the sky or Toplosh under the bed stories. It's about stories that have a very overtly political agenda, and that they're trying to establish something as fact by repeating it often enough. I think it was Lenin that said that if you repeat a lie often enough, it becomes the truth.
Unlike pre-digital days when information traveled at a much slower pace, the internet and social media has made it rather easy for people to spread false or fabricated stories. This, however, opens another window of discussion on the issue of internet governance.
It's much easier now to appear to be the real thing, I think. I think that's what the difference is, that it is a matter of minutes for me to set up a server, copy the design and feel of SABC News, digital news, and have a site that looks like it but might be called SA8C Digital News or something like that. And it's so easy to do, but the problem legislators have when they're looking at protecting brand names and trademarks is how do you legislate for that? Because to get around any kind of law or just to spin something up a second time once one gets taken down is trivial. It's so easy. So I think that's the challenge we have now. And
since the internet is an open platform, it seems fake news will not be going anywhere anytime soon. So it falls on human beings to learn to discern on whether their news source is a real one or a fake one.
Many people seem to have great memories of the iconic Nokia 3310. It kept people entertained with the Snakes 2 game and had a long battery life. But let's face it, it could mostly send SMSs and make phone calls, as phones were not as sophisticated as they are today. It's believed that the Nokia brand is planning a return to the smartphone market with the once extremely popular phone affectionately known as the Brick. Big rumors this week is that Nokia is returning with the iconic 3310. This time, some believe it to be running on Android. The phone was known for its long battery life, and it was one of the most popular phones ever released. Many we spoke to say they loved it back in the day.
My first phone, it was a Nokia 3310. My mom bought it for me.
That one for me, it was very nice.
My memory of it is that it was a very good phone, and you can get nostalgic for those phones because of the battery, because it lasts forever.
Originally released by Finland's Nokia in the year 2000, the 3310 went on to sell 126 million units. While smartphone users are excited about the possibility of a new 3310, they want more details about it.
What worries me a little bit is I can't visualize in my head how that handset would transform to a smartphone.
If they bring it back with the new technology that we have and WhatsApp connect people, yeah, we can go back and buy it.
The smartphones do so many things now that you need for work and stuff like that. I'm a journalist, so I need it for my work a lot. Getting emails, the internet, whatever, Twitter, whatever else.
HMD, the Finnish company that bought the name Nokia in December, is expected to reveal new Nokia phones, including the new 3310 on February 26.
Although Nokia as a company quit the handset market already a few years ago, it remains on cheaper kind of feature phones that are sold mainly in Asia. But the return of this kind of classic model, for that the target could be a growing audience of people who just feel that the smartphone is an addiction.
This reveal would be at Mobile World Congress in Barcelona in Spain. Britain has opened a new national cybercrime center, and Beyonce is facing a lawsuit for using someone's YouTube content without permission. These are some of the stories that made tech headlines in the last week.
These Syrian refugees and displaced Iraqis are learning how to code. The students are learning the skill in a residential house in Erbil, northern Iraq, and they will be the first to graduate from this pilot boot camp funded by the UN.
I studied computer engineering at the University of Damascus. I was in my 4th class, but unfortunately I couldn't complete my study because of the war.
Need a computer and an internet connection, and not even a constant internet connection, just intermittent, right? You can get an assignment, be offline, work on it, get online again, push your code to your client, and that's it. You can do it from anywhere.
Now heading over to the United Kingdom. British Chancellor of the Exchequer Philip Hammond warned on Tuesday that cyber attacks were increasing as Queen Elizabeth formally opened a new national cybersecurity centre in London.
The fact is that the greater connectivity that will enable the development of the digital economy is also a source of vulnerability, and those who want to exploit that vulnerability have not been idle. The cyber attacks that we're seeing are increasing in their frequency, their severity and their sophistication. In the first 3 months of its existence, the NCSC has already mobilised to respond to attacks on 188 occasions.
In a speech to mark the opening, Hammond warned that cyber attacks on British business were increasing in frequency, severity and sophistication. Now heading over to the US of A. Mega pop star Beyonce has been sued for copyright. The Formation singer sampled the voice of a popular YouTuber.
The case is just basically Beyonce used a little fragment or a little part of a phrase that a YouTuber, a famous YouTuber who died a few years ago, used on their YouTube clip, and she used it on Formation. I mean, you know, Formation became this huge hit, and now there's a lawsuit now that's come about saying that she didn't ask for permission from them.
Water-wise, water is an essential need. The scarcity of it could lead to loss of many lives, including livestock, plants, and much more. It requires us to use it sparingly and responsibly in times of need, failing which our taps and sanitation will not function. For more on water and weather issues, stay tuned to News Today, every Friday at 4:45 Central African Time. SABC News, making you water-wise.
Health Talk unpacks healthy tips to help you to practice healthy living lifestyles.
Now, generally, type 1 is found mostly in children and young adults, and with type 2 diabetes is found mainly in the older generation, and also with an issue of obesity.
Don't have second portions, and then I've brought this plate model to show that for both meals, your lunch, your dinner, half the plate should be vegetables.
Within sports, we see the spectrum itself. Most often we see minor head contact injuries, we call them.
Right.
But certainly in sports, the one that a lot of attention is paid to is concussion.
You see, you've got something, boom, but it's uncontrolled. Whereas in soccer, when the guy hits the ball, it's controlled. His neck muscles are controlling it. And that's why they say, for instance, in rugby, the training should be to improve your neck strength.
For more on health, join your host Dr. Selo Motaung every Saturday from 9 to 10 a.m.
It is the SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. Welcome back. Now, British rock band Motörhead has now their own video games. They also participated in the creative process of making this video game.
British rock band Motörhead has been popular on the stage and in the rock music scene. Now they're getting their own video game. It's called Motörhead Through the Ages.
The Motörhead is a special expansion called Motörhead Through the Ages of the game, and it's all built around Motörhead. It's built around the ideas that they have in their songs. It's built around their music. It's built around different visuals that they have, album covers, stuff that they did on the stage, and it's all created around the idea of Motörhead.
Motörhead guitarist Phil Campbell worked as a creative consultant in the game. He said bandmate Lemmy, who passed away in 2015, was a gamer himself and would have loved seeing Motörhead get their own computer game.
Well, initially the guys, they asked us, to contribute some music, and a lot of the guys doing the thing were Motörhead fans, so we kind of got cheeky and we said, come on. So that we ended up, we saw it's so cool to be doing it with us, making it about us, which we chuffed about. And I've just seen some stuff of it now with the latest, and it's fantastic. Yeah, I'm really excited about it.
fans will surely enjoy this one.
Now, the 3 weeks long Overwatch Festival for PC, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One has already started. There are a lot of prizes up for grabs for the gamers who want to participate. Joining us from Cape Town to tell us about how Overwatch works and esports in general in South Africa is Nick Holden, who is the co-owner of the African Cyber Gaming League. Hello and thank you for joining us, Nick.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Nick, if you can just start by defining what Overwatch actually is.
Well, Overwatch is essentially a competitive video game. It's played online, and it was released around about a year ago. And ever since then, communities from all around the world have been participating in Overwatch and playing for some huge prize pools and some prize money as well.
Why did you see the need then that you needed to have an Overwatch festival?
Well, one of the things is we want to get a yardstick on the community that we have at the moment and figure out exactly how many players are playing locally. So we started the Overwatch Festival to do exactly that and get an understanding of where we can take this community going forward. One of the most important things for us is the development of the community itself. So that's what we want to do. This is essentially stage one for us. Hopefully going to be building up towards something bigger and better later in the year.
Let's talk about the game itself. What type of game is it?
All right, so Overwatch, it's a bit of a mix-up of quite a few games. I mean, taking a look at a lot of aspects, it's a first-person shooter, and it's also a third-person hit-em-up style. So you essentially playing as a team, 6v6 in the traditional format. What we're doing for the Overwatch Fest, however, is breaking down those barriers, and all you need to do is enter as an individual, and you play one-on-one against certain other characters that all have different types of playstyles and special movesets. And you basically go head-to-head and see who can come out on top.
And if I want to participate, what is it that I should be doing?
All right, well, first of all, you're going to need the platform to do that. So you either need a PC, an Xbox One, or a PlayStation 4. You'll also need a copy of the game. The tricky thing with Overwatch is it is basically network exclusive, so you will need an online connection. And as soon as you have that, you're pretty much good to go. You push your A button or start button or whatever it might be, and you jump right into the action.
Let's go back to when you first developed Overwatch. Where was the concept coming from? Why did you decide to see the need to have such a game?
Well, we didn't develop Overwatch. It's more the concept of the tournament that we created. That obviously the credit of developing Overwatch goes to Blizzard. But in terms of the Overwatch Festival, like I mentioned a bit earlier, to gauge out exactly where we can go with the competitive community on this side. One of the biggest functions of the competitive community is to make sure that it's a spectator sport. So during the festival, we want to make sure that we can translate that across and make sure that we can broadcast some of the talent that is on display during the event.
Let's talk about that, the spectator sports element of e-gaming in South Africa, because a lot of people think that gamers are people who sit in front of their computers alone in their rooms, and it's not really a spectator sport so much. How big is it in South Africa as a spectator sport?
Well, in South Africa, it's growing. I mean, the whole industry as a whole is growing, but as a spectator sport, it's one of those things. It comes with participation. I mean, if say you're a rugby or a soccer player, you really want to make sure that you can watch the best players, and that's how you start to become a fan of the sport. So what we essentially are providing is the groundwork for people to become fans of the game itself and become fans of the best players within inside the country. And that's what we're trying to develop at the moment. So spectator-wise, it really varies on the title and the prize pool and really what's at stake at the end of the day for the tournaments. But I mean, viewership can range completely from, 1,000, 100 viewers, 10,000 viewers. It really just depends on the size and scale of the tournament.
And let's talk about putting such tournaments together as well, because spectators can be anywhere in the world really watching on their PCs. What does it take to put a tournament like that together, irrespective of the size, really?
Well, the thing is, it has to almost be irrespective of the size, because online tournaments are completely different in nature to what we like to call LAN events. The LAN events come with big stages. They come with presenters. You have personalities. I mean, we had a huge amount of personalities pitching up to one of our tournaments end of last year at Rage Joburg, and it was essentially the biggest console tournament in Africa for that moment. We'll probably get overtaken just by the pure nature of esports at the moment. But it is essentially a big production. There's TV cameras, there's commentators, like I did mention. You have to make sure the schedule runs according to plan. This is really becoming along the same lines of sports in a lot of ways.
And the type of participant who would be playing esports, I remember watching something from the United Kingdom, and they said people become slow after the age of 22. So they were saying it's the younger crowd that would be playing. Is that what you're seeing in South Africa?
Well, absolutely. I mean, your younger players are the guys with the reflexes and the girls with the reflexes that can basically pull off the crazy maneuvers that, let's face it, those of us that are facing the later stages of 25, 30, we can't keep up with them. That's where we got to play the more tactical game, and that's where experience plays into its hands. So, I mean, if you take a look and you compare that into sports in a lot of ways, once again, you've seen your most athletic players around that same kind of mark. But the players with experience, you still need them in your teams to make sure that you come out on top.
All right, Nick Holden from African Cyber Gaming League, thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so with Nick Holden there, he is from African Cyber Gaming League, talking to us about Overwatch Festival and esports in general in South Africa. Now, we're still giving away that Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace, courtesy of MTN. Last week's winner is Atenkosi Sajini, who tweets as @Sajini Atenkosi. Congratulations to you. Now, in order to win the Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace, you need to follow us on SABC Network on our social media pages. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. There, you have to answer a simple question. This week, we're asking which iconic Nokia phone could be returning this year. That is, which iconic Nokia phone could be returning this year.
A top 5 rated horse racing event in the world, fashion is a highlight for those in attendance. All decked out in blue and white, the Lomorians Queen Plate is the premier event that kicked off everyone's social calendar.
That it was all part of my master plan to cast John Legend but deprive him of his normal instrument and give that one to Ryan.
The House of Truth is not just a name. It is a religion. It is a lifestyle. It is a conviction that drives us.
What really excites me is how people have kept it very simple and also played with the theme, and how each person has interpreted it in their own way.
To stay updated with all the current entertainment news, tune into Trends every Saturday from 12 to 1.
SABC Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Now remember that we're still giving away that Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace courtesy of MTN. Last week's winner is Atenkosi Sajini, who tweets as @Sajini Atenkosi. In order for you to win or stand a chance to win the Samsung Galaxy J1 Ace, you need to answer the following question. Which smartphone could be returning this year? Which iconic Nokia phone could be returning this year as a smartphone? And this week on Twitter, we have been asking you if you would buy the revamped Nokia 3310. Now, it seems that 41% say only if its features are good. That is, only if its features are good. 32% say yes because nostalgic moments that they have with that phone. There's 19% who say it should be left in the past. There's the last 8% who say they actually do not know whether they would be buying a new Nokia 3310. And that's all we have for you. Find us on SABC Network. That's on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. News Network at sabc.co.za and email. This week, we leave you with Libyan commemorations of 6 years since the death and ulcer of Muammar Gaddafi. From me and the rest of the network team, have a good one. Good night.